Thank you so much, Kaylee. Now let's welcome Mary O'Connell, our 3PL expert, live from St. Louis, Missouri. Mary, how are you doing today? What's on your mind?
I'm good, Michael. Just living our best Tuesday. We got some of the wind that Kaylee was talking about. It's out of town now, so we're good. Other
Oh,
than that, we're just kind of living our best Tuesday life.
all right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we're talking about EDI and the likes and the standardization there, which never really occurred, and those kind of problems there. What's on your mind here? What's going on with EDI, and what's wrong with the standardization practice? It never really occurred, right? I mean, EDI is supposed to be standard, and there's nothing standard about EDI transmissions, right?
Absolutely. You spend 5 seconds in any sort of tech, not even necessarily a tech capacity, in any role that has something to do with EDI, and you're going to find stuff that's broken. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've had a no-touch EDI system, but you have to and you have to touch a shipment 3 or 4 times just to get it to process correctly, like to go through all the steps. So EDI is great in theory, and it's great when it works. But when it doesn't work, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of like sitting there pounding your head against the wall, getting someone else to listen to make it work. So if it's just something as simple as like, oh, they formatted something wrong and they just need to change one thing and then everything will be fine, that's fantastic. But you still have to go through the work and go through all that testing and find someone that will actually respond to you about your EDI problems, because shockingly, a lot of carriers aren't the most receptive to EDI issues and fixing those moving forward, which is shocking because that's how a lot of them end up getting paid. So it's almost like they just don't want money for what they've done.
So, Mary, when we talk a lot about freight tech, there's often kind of this like underlying battle, the EDI versus the API. And this idea that EDI is a thing of legacy tech and a thing of something that's really going to sit there to hold your business back. And API is the way of the future and the new tech stack, right? Is that really the case? Or are we still seeing a lot of companies put forth solutions that involve EDIs with maybe an API option?
I think there's definitely a world in which both of them exist together in perfect harmony, even with some AI integration as well. It's just a matter of, as we know, trucking and transportation isn't exactly the most tech forward, edge of technology, cutting edge. We're not necessarily, the everyday users of that aren't really on the edge of technology. They're not, striving forward to be like the best and the greatest. But the best thing is that you can use them both together. So you can have EDI calls and you can have EDIs to get your 210s, your 214s for a loaded, unloaded, and status updates. You can still have those in cooperation with your API calls to maybe get some dynamic LTL rate pricing, to maybe find a new way to send BOLs. That way you don't have to have someone sit there and break down like a 20-page PDF into a like smaller PDFs, so that way someone else can sit there and type them in data entry. Like you can free up some of your data entry people to maybe help out with operation support by leveraging different technology. It's not necessarily removing one, it's just like making it better and improving things. And I know it's easier said than done when you have all these different technology systems working together, because sometimes you might have a legacy system that is, old and not compatible with anything. So it's just a matter of finding what works for you. And both of those EDIs and APIs can certainly work in harmony together. It's just a matter of figuring out where you can implement what and making it work for you.
Yeah, the issue really, excuse me, one of the issues with EDI is the fact that going from one company to another company, it's not standardized at all. I mean, a 214 and a 210 are the exact same thing. The content that is inside that message is not standardized at all. And so a 214 from this company is not the same as the one from another company. And that's part of the issue, right? And so that transparency and the flexibility that you need in this day, right? And we needed back in the day as well, but it's more and more evident every day. You need more flexibility and be able to have more of a homogeneous information coming in across the different channels. It becomes antiquated really quick. Is it something that can survive the next 5 to 10 years as we automate and bring in this transparency?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's all about standard, like you said, it's standard for every different carrier, customer, shipper pairing. So the biggest thing that you can do is standardize it for your, like, focus on, like, literally just take a look at maybe some of your invoices, some of the things that aren't automatically flowing. Take a look at your exceptions. And make sure that those are, figure out why they're exceptions. If it's a true exception, okay. But most of those exceptions that come across are a result of something not getting transmitted correctly. So whether that's you have to map it differently on your side to make it work, or get your carrier to send something a little differently, it's just about getting into the meat of it and helping things flow smoothly. That alone can buy you at least 5 years until maybe you want to upgrade something, or until you want to see what the newest thing is. Because I don't know what the next thing will be. I like to think that there's a world where you have your EDI calls, your API calls, and maybe some artificial intelligence mixed in there for some true, like, optimization and process improvement. I think that would be amazing if you could have all three of those working together. It's just a matter of, what are your business needs? What do you need? What are priorities for you? And if it may be 5 years, you're looking at getting a new TMS. Okay, well, then we just got to make it through those 5 years and work with what we got. And if that means cobbling something together, then we're cobbling something together to make it work. And we're standardizing it for us, and we're making sure all of our carrier partners are on board with what we want to do. And pretty much, even if that means finding a director of technology on LinkedIn and saying, hey, can you, like, slide into his DMs and say, hey, can you help me with some EDI integration? Because I can't get any response back from customer service or any of the techs I've been working with before. It's crazy, but it works.
And I feel like that's kind of like it shouldn't be that way, right? Like, you shouldn't have to resort to finding a CTO on LinkedIn and saying, you know what, hey, your guys on the bottom aren't doing their job. Like, can you help me out with this? How do you fix that in the industry? Is that just like an industry-wide change that needs to be made, and it's just never going to happen because it's difficult to do? Or is there some type of solution other than, literally going to the top person and just sliding a DM?
Well, if someone has a better idea as to how to get someone out, because, like, usually you'll find one person that's really great, and then they will move positions or leave the company or do something, and it's very obnoxious, and you have to find someone else, or you'll get stuck behind the customer service wall and you can't find anyone. If anyone has an idea or a solution to this, by all means, let me know, and we will shout it from the rooftops, because I have not been able to find one. Not saying that there's not one out there, but I have not had that joy. So if someone has a solution, by all means, let me know, because I think there should be one. You should be able to reach out to your carrier partner with any problem that you have that is on their side, your side, etc., and get that problem solved. And it's just, it doesn't happen sometimes.
What's your dog's name, Mary?
That one is Millie. She is obsessed with barking at the kids walking to school, or anyone that has the audacity to walk outside of our house.
It sounds like she's got some ideas on how to change the industry, right? We should let her on.
She was had some issues with EDI. I wasn't real happy about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, she's not a fan.
That's excellent stuff, Mary. Right, what do you got coming up? What's next on Check Call?
Today, we're actually going to talk about EDI and AI integration with Vector AI. We're very excited about that. We've got some market updates coming. We've got some celebrations of Driver Appreciation Week. It's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good month in Check Call Land.
Excellent.
All right, you can find that on FreightWaves TV coming up later on this afternoon, of course, and go subscribe to Mary's newsletter as well, freightwaves.com/newsletters. Right now, we're going to head back over to the wall. We've got our next carrier update with Tony and Donnie.